Good afternoon, everyone. I have been asked to be the moderator for today's memorial, no? So that we can remember both Puno and Dick Upton. In the program today, we will request some of our Rotarians to give their thoughts, say a little something about our dearly beloved deceased, no? And first, we will start with Puno, who has, as you can see on your screens, no, been a member of the club from almost the very beginning, and where he has served the club in various ways, no, being president in the year 1973 to 1974. And so, without further ado, we would like first to call on PRID Paing Hechanova to give a tribute to our dear Puno Peña. PRID Paing, are you here? Are you ready? You are still on mute, PRID Paing. There you go. All right.
Thank you, Peter, for this President Peter, for this opportunity to say goodbye to a friend of many years. It was a really shock for me when I was told. As everybody else, we seniors have been on strict quarantine for the last 6 months. Puno and I and our families have known each other for more than 50 years. Puno joined in 1969, as I did 2 years before in 1967. We became friends as we were also neighbors, as our houses just faced each other across a street. Our journey through Rotary can be said that we were together. Puno, after only 4 years in the club, served as president in 1973. I served as president in 1972. And since then, we served together the Rotary Club of Makati, who is now in its 54th year. That was how close we were. You know, he has a very pleasant disposition. He would not get angry when the other members would laugh at his English. He would just reply to speak in Spanish to me. He was friendly to everyone. For someone who came from Colombia and married a Filipina and established a shipping business here. Both Puno and Menchu would always open their house for Rotary meetings, for billiards or otherwise. He was mostly always in the Tuesday, also mostly present in the Tuesday meetings, greeting everyone. His passion for Rotary cannot be questioned. As president, I found out that the first Paul Harris Fellow in the club was the late Ramon Yulo from Canlubang. I became the second, and Puno became the third. He was the Tony Kila of those years, encouraging everyone to be a Paul Harris Fellow. His passion for Rotary cannot be questioned. As president, he was dedicated and busy. He served the club in various capacities and as the key leader in the anti-TV project. As trustee and chairman of the Makati Rotary Club Foundation, he participated in changes that benefit the foundation. He was the leader of the so-called Spanish table for many years until poor health dissipated that table. And so he and Pocholo Romero Salas joined me and Bulu and Buli Kron and Habilosa. And now also for Victor uh, uh, Vic Vic Floresca. Later on, he became active likewise with the consular corps and was appointed Consul General of Estonia. My dear Pono, you can say that you Puno in Rotary service. Perhaps one of these days I will join you shortly. May our Lord honor you as you are a son. So long.
Thank you very much, PRID Paing, for those wonderful words. We will. It's good to know these little things about Puno. Um, our next speaker to talk about Puno will be past President Roger Davis. Roger.
Ask them if they can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I was asked also to say a few words about Puno, my dear friend of over 50 years. And I would like to start by saying Puno Peña was a gentleman. He epitomized everything that a gentleman should be. A man of principle, a man of sensitivity, a man of honor, palabra de honor, and a man you could rely on at every occasion. Last year, we were getting together every Thursday for a quiet lunch at his apartment. And there we discussed the problems of the world, the problems of family, and the problems of the Philippine economy, and what to do in the years to come, how business would be conducted, particularly with all this high tech available, and what would happen in the long term. I would also like to say about Puno is that it is difficult to explain in so many words one's feeling about a friend, but there it is. We reminisced. When you're old, you'll have to reminisce over the wonderful times, the happy days, the wonderful weekends at Cali Beach, where he had built the first house, and I built the second one. And then since then, there are now more than 230 houses in the subdivision. The first subdivision, I might add, along the coast of Batangas. Yes, those were happy days, and we discussed those days and recalled the fun we had, the camaraderie, and the events that were held there. looking back, we can only say that in this lifetime, to have a friend such as Puno of over 50 years, I met him when he arrived in the Philippines after he was here for about 3 months. And I met him and we hit it off very nicely. And since that time, he was always the friend that one would expect. It's time, I think, to say goodbye. I'm also in one of those critical age brackets. He was 89. I'm going to be 85 in a couple of weeks. And so we have to look ahead and see what we can do to leave a mark, a milestone, so to speak, in our lives, leaving something behind for hopefully others to follow. So, at the beginning I said, Puno was a gentleman. And so I close, dear friend, I know that you're now relaxed and happy, and it was a pleasure, an honor to have known you. Goodbye, Puno. You are really a gentleman. I will always remember. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Past President Roger, for those wonderful words. And now we'd like to move on to our next speaker for Puno, Director Rodrigo Segura. Rodrigo, you're on.
Thank you, Reggie. Talking about Puno is talking about a good friend who was always ready to support and give advice in most situations. He left Colombia at an early age and experienced what it takes to adjust and be able to live in a different country, becoming after the years almost a Filipino. Puno was born in Chiquinquirá, Boyacá, a state 250 kilometers north of Bogotá, well known for its rich and fertile grounds and for many great people that have come from there. Peña means in Spanish rock, and he was exactly that, not only for his family, but for many people with whom he worked with. We have prepared some pictures about Puno's life that show different aspects of what he accomplished and touched. Ron, can you put the pictures, please? The first one is as a devoted husband. Second one is a family, as a family man. He has a lot of grandchildren, as you can see on the right picture. All of them beautiful, beautiful family. Yes, and as a diplomat here, during a lunch that he used to participate every month with the Consular Corps of Manila here in the peninsula. As a sportsman, he was an accomplished golf player. He won a tournament in Manila Golf several years ago. And on the left picture, it was an honor for me to win his yearly tournament back in, I don't remember what year was that, but anyway, he was the one who awarded me with his trophy. That was a very, very touching, that's a very touching memory I have. Then as an accomplished traveler, he traveled around the world. On the left side, you can see his years in Europe, and then he traveled all around the world. The Lincoln Memorial on the right side. And then as a Rotarian. Rotary represented a big part of his life. We used to talk a lot about Rotary and what can be accomplished. One accomplishment he didn't mention though. Ron, can you go one backwards, please? Yes, one accomplishment he never mentioned but it was highlighted by one of our past directors and Rotarian is coming from Vic Floresca. And I would like to pass the phone to Vic so he can tell us more about this particular accomplishment that happened in 1975 when he was the head of the foundation in our club. Vic, can you open Vic's microphone, please?
Thank you, Puno. Thank you, Rodrigo. This is Vic Floresca. Are you hearing me, Rodrigo?
Yes, Vic, loud and clear, yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was able to contact the Meissner family a couple of hours ago, and I was requested to extend Art Meissner and Charlotte, the wife, their condolences to the Puno family. Art had a nasty accident about 20 years ago, which has impaired his physical as well as his mental capabilities. So that's why he has not been in touch with us for quite some time. They send their warmest regards to all their friends at the Rotary Club of Makati. The other couple that the Punos were very close to was a couple from Romanhas who were here in the 70s, and this is Ruben Salazar and Patricia Salazar. Perhaps the family members could remember the name. Patricia is a Colombian, and Puno was Ruben is a Venezuelan. In 1975, the Laurel Langley Act expired, so all foreign companies have to divest their properties, and Romanhas was one of them. So it was that time that Romanhas, during the term of Puno and Art Meissner, and together with a number of our elderly senior club members like Paeng and Roger Davis, they were all participants in that milestone negotiation for the transfer of the Romanhas property in Las Piñas to our foundation. Well, Romanhas is a multinational, American multinational chemical company based in Philadelphia, and it has been in the Fortune 500 from the 50s to the 80s. But in about 10 years ago, Romanhas was completely sold to Dow Chemical. So Dow Chemical is now the owner of the Romanhas property in Las Piñas. And just a comment that was mentioned by one of our senior members of our club. Probably the Rotary Foundation of Makati and the Rotary Club of Makati, probably one of the richest clubs. I don't know whether it is in the Philippines or in the world. So thank you, Rodrigo, for giving me that opportunity, and have a nice day.
Thank you for your words, Vic. Now, following the family, the Peña family in Boyacá is a well-respected family where Puno's father and grandfather were also doctors. And Puno, following the family tradition, went to Spain to study medicine, not knowing that he was not going to go back to live in Colombia ever again. He was an accomplished man, and I didn't want to talk about how he left this world, but how he lived and shared so much with so many. His sense of humor was typical from well-educated and well-mannered people in Bogota. Talking with him, he always reminded me in our conversations of several Colombians I met when I was growing up in Bogota, who were all known as cachacos, who were intellectually oriented, conservative in nature, and displayed a sharp sense of humor. Let's pray to the Lord that he is now enjoying the graces of eternal life and following our Catholic faith, that we can meet again to have many more friendly and intelligent conversations with a man who left a great legacy among all of us. Rest in peace, dear friend, Dr. Juan Nepomuceno Puno Peña.
Thank you very much, Rodrigo. Wonderful words. It's so amazing how Puno is such a trailblazer, and we owe so much to him. So it's really good that we are remembering him today. We'd now like to ask our president, Peter, to please give his remarks in relation to Puno. I'd like to turn over the mic to President Peter. Peter, you're on. Yeah.
Cannot hear.
Peter, you're on mute. The RCM laptop is on mute.
Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now? Ready?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, past President Puno was one of the venerable members of the reputable table number 6. And before I was officially introduced as a new member of the club during what was then called the new members orientation, or maybe I should call it the Rotary Life indoctrination, I was told by another wise and well-respected leader of the club, past President Vic Floresca, who was then the membership committee chairman, that I should mingle with the members of the club and try to know all of them. So after our induction, I dutifully attended my first regular club meeting. And as I looked around, I gazed through a bunch of older people sat together in one table. Back then, I didn't know that there was such a thing as table number 6. That's the number of their table, by the way. Now, as a kid, I've always loved the company of people far much older than myself. I felt secure being with them, for I learned a lot from them just by listening to their insights and discussions of various issues. I even felt wiser, just hanging around with them. So on that day, it was natural for me to gravitate towards them. And as soon as I introduced myself, greeted them, and took my seat, I felt as though God walked by. And suddenly, they all kept quiet. It was not until the senior guy seated to my left talked to me that the rest started talking to each other again. That man was past President Puno Pena. He was kind enough to welcome me to their table. I mean the club. He interviewed me and even told me a bit about himself. The following club meeting discovered young man that I was, I again joined table number 6. This time, past President Puno was seated across myself at the table. Once again, nobody was talking to me except past President Puno Peña. And every time he gave me some pep talk across the table, I noticed the other guys stop talking. And it really felt weird. Because I at the time. On my third meeting, I did not join table number 6 anymore. As I noticed that it was only past President Puno who was talking to me. Instead, I joined another table filled with members who seemed relaxed and all day, the RCMAC table. It was the table composed of the late Frank Chavez, Ed Rojas, past President Fidel Alfonso, past President Fred Arungao, D.P. Chito, Washlu, and my fellow newbie at that time, Tama Samson, among others. It was then that I was told about the uniqueness of table number 6. Of course, in the years that followed, though I was most of the time seated with the RCMAC group, I still joined table number 6 every now and then, just to sit beside past President Puno to catch up with him. Well, eventually, the other senior members of table number 6 warmed up and started engaging me in their conversation. I will always remember past President Puno as the always smiling, wise, and dignified senior leader of our club. Thank you, past President Puno, for welcoming me to your exclusive table number 6. Thank you for trying to make me comfortable in the company of your colleagues. Thank you for all the insights and the conversations we shared. And most of all, thank you for your services and contributions to the club. As mentioned earlier by our previous speakers, and as relayed to me by Manong Vic Floresca, you have done our club a great favor for having been instrumental in securing a very valuable asset. Our club has been sourcing funds to finance our humanitarian projects in the past and in the years to come. As President Puno, the club will always be grateful to you, and you will always be remembered.
Thank you very much, Peter, for those words. You really represented all of us in those words. All right. At this point, we'd like to call on Fernando Peña to give the response from the family. Fernando, are you on?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, we hear you. All right.
Yeah. You know, guys, I have to really thank you for this mass for my father. I don't know if you know, every Tuesday, as any Rotarian knows, was blocked off. And I am a Rotary kid. Having gone to all your basketball games, I really love to thank Tito Paing, who he really had great respect for. Going to Mondragon and watching the basketball as a young boy, to the point that, you know, my father, being Colombian, played football and didn't even know how to dribble or shoot. But they made him the coach. And with that was my life as a Rotary kid. And I benefited understanding all the service of Rotary, that one day he allowed me to join your sister club, Makati West. I know I got my phone call from my mom. Are you crazy of joining Makati West? I said, Mom, very hard to be with Pop in one club because two Peñas is probably hard. So with that, and I had my greatest Rotary experience when in 2010, I became the president of Makati West, where a kid of Makati became the president of her sister club, Makati West. And my father, unfortunately, District Governor Sid, I asked him if he didn't mind that I would be pinned not by the district governor, but by my father. And I guess that's the greatest Rotary moment, when a father, past president, pins his son as a president. And I'd like to share with you a small poem I did, and I said in the eulogy. And I hope it ends that, you know, it's really sad, but I know my father is laughing with my mom and with all our other Rotarians. And I've seen all the pictures. And I know Tito Roger Davis is listening, and Tito Paing. Here's a poem I made. I said, Puno Peña, a man called Puno, Rotarian he was, did his service with very little fanfare or fuss. He was a tall mustached and a Colombian to boot, always well-dressed, nakasuit. His English was broken, mostly Spanish was spoken, so to be understood, for him, Manchu was good. He was the best, numero uno. I'm proud to be hijo de Puno. Thank you all. It was a perfect mass and tribute, and I hope I did my father some service for his great experience as my Rotarian of the century. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Past President Fernando. That was a very nice poem. And I know Puno is just laughing also because I know he got a kick out of that. That's for sure. All right, at this point, we'd like to request the staff to please play a little tribute video on Puno as we remember him during his life as a Rotarian. So if Ron, if you're ready, please play the video.